My best friend Jack and I decided to go camping in a nearby lake in the forest. The lake was situated on the outskirts of the city. The lake had a notorious history, but we ignored it as mere superstitions of the people. But who knew that those were not just the words but reality-based incidents? We reached there on Sunday evening. The lake was located in such a beautiful place that it fully mesmerized our attention. The evening time added to the beauty of the place with the yellow hue of the setting sun. It seemed nothing less than a paradise. We immediately set a campfire near the lake as it was getting dark now. The atmosphere, once very peaceful, was now turning into a disturbing silence. While we were busy with the campfire, we noticed that someone was watching us. We tried to investigate what it was and found out that it was an old woman in a white dress with a very frightening appearance. We asked her what she wanted, but she didn't utter a single word. Sometimes she pointed her finger towards a little pit on one side of the forest, as if she was saying that she had lost something there. We went there and started digging. After we completed our digging, there was a box inside the pit. The old woman pointed towards it. We opened the box and what we saw shook our bodies entirely. There was the hand of a person drenched in blood. Jack fainted and fell on the ground. I looked back, and the old woman was not there. There was just an ominous laugh of that woman all around the forest. After the recent breathtaking incident, we decided to set up the camp so that we could sleep. We wanted to escape the night by sleeping, so that in the morning we could go back home safely. After setting up the camp, we went inside it. After some time, we heard a child crying. Jack started to shiver with terror. I calmed him down and mustered up courage and went outside the camp. I took my flashlight and started to search for the reason, but there was nothing. I thought that it was just our misconception due to the last horrible accident. The accident had invaded our minds entirely, so I decided to take a rest and went back to the camp. When I entered the camp, Jack was not there, but his shoes were inside the camp. I tried to find him. Then I saw that Jack was walking towards the depths of the forest. I yelled his name, but it seemed that he was possessed by some forbidden force. I ran towards him and held him by the arm. He gave a jerk, and I was pushed to a considerable distance away and struck into the tree. My head started to bleed, but I was more concerned about Jack as the demonic forces could have taken his life. After some time, he entered a cave and reached a spot in the cave which gave the appearance of a slaughterhouse. There were bones and blood of people all around the place. Suddenly, Jack took a sword and tried to cut his neck. I took a big stone and pounded it on his head. Jack fell on the ground, and when he came back to his senses, started to shiver with fear. He yelled, "Where am I?" We immediately ran from that death pit. We took a sigh of relief that we were safe as those demonic forces were about to take Jack's life. After we ran out of the cave, we decided to leave that forest as soon as possible. As it was still nighttime, and it was extremely dangerous to travel in this thick night, we continued somehow. I started to drive the car so that we could leave this place immediately. After some time, we found the road and were extremely happy that now we were out of danger. But after a minute or two, our car's engine became too hot, and there was smoke coming out of the engine. I got outside the car and lifted the bonnet to examine the reason, but all in vain. Jack tried to push the car and tried to start the car, but the engine still didn't respond. While we were struggling with the car, we heard howling of wolves coming from a distance. When we looked closely, we saw that a pack of fierce wolves were coming towards us. It seemed that the wolves would tear us apart. We hurriedly ran and sat in the car to save our lives. The wolves surrounded our car. It seemed that they would break our car's window and would enter the car. Jack tried to start the engine, and after trying for almost half an hour, he succeeded. We immediately rushed away from there. Wolves were still following us, but after some time they were out of sight. We took deep breaths, as now we were out of danger. Within 1 hour we reached back home safely. But the tragic incidents we experienced here will surely haunt us for the rest of our lives.